Hello students, this is about lecture number 15 in morphology of flowering plants. So in the previous lecture we saw about the flower and various parts like placentation, everything we have seen. So in a flower there will be androecium and gynoecium, main floral parts. In the gynoecium, there will be carpel arranged as the single unit. That carpel is made up of ovary, style and stigma, you may remember. That ovary will become the fruit we have seen. This is the ovary where it is attached with the funicle, otherwise a part here. This ovary will be containing style and stigma like this. The style and stigma will wither off. Ovary will become the fruit we have seen. In previous lecture, I was telling you about fruits only. There may be fleshy fruit, there may be dry fruit. Fleshy fruit can be further differentiated into various types. Of course, according to our syllabus, we will be studying about drupe variety only. In the previous class, I told you about mango drupe and coconut drupe in detail. Let us now see about the seed in this class. About seeds, we are going to see here. So fruit we have completed. Let us go for the seed. The next subheading is about seed. In morphology, we have seen about root, stem, leaf, inflorescence, flower, then fruit also. Now we are going to see about the seeds in detail. Then the last part of the morphology we can see. Of course, after this we must see about some morphological, families of angiosperm we have to see. But as far as seed is concerned, it is nothing but ovule of the angiosperm become the seed actually. Ovule becomes the seed. That is the speciality you have to remember. Ovary becomes the fruit after fertilization. Ovule becomes the seed after fertilization. So ovule is present within the ovary, inside the ovary, you may be remembering. Now remember, this is the ovary, inside it ovule is present. In that ovule only, female gamete will be produced actually. Female gamete means ovum, otherwise egg we are telling. It will be produced here only. Fertilization, male gamete will be brought to the stigma here, otherwise pollen grain will come to the stigma. Makaranta tantivalla, that pollen grain will come to the stigma. From there it will germinate, it will release the antherozoid. Remember, antherozoids are male gametes. Ovum is the female gamete. This antherozoid will fuse with the ovum, egg. They will become the zygote. Remember. Now that zygote is enclosed. This will become the zygote. Zygote is enclosed within the ovule actually. So I can see like this. This is the zygote. It is formed due to the fusion of one antherozoid and one ovum, we can see. This zygote is present within the ovule. Ovule is present within the ovary. Try to get this point. This is the major difference between gymnosperm and angiosperm actually. This is angiosperm. We are talking about angiosperms. In angiosperm, this ovary is present. That is called angium. Inside that angium only seed is located. So it is called angium spore, angiospore it can be called. Whereas in the gymnosperm, there won't be ovary. This ovary will be absent. Only ovule will be naked, we are telling. Ovule is not covered by ovary. When ovary is absent, ovule is naked, it is called a gymnosperm. Gymno refers to naked, sperm refers to seed in this case. Angium refers to ovary and sperm refers to seed. Within the ovary, seed is what that angium, or within the ovary, ovule will be present. So students, ovary becomes fruit. What is fruit? It is nothing but ovary. Ovule becomes the seed in the case of angiosperm after fertilization. Egg will become zygote, ovule will become seed, ovary will become the fruit. That's the point. Now, in these seeds can be of two major types actually. There are two major types of seed we are going to study here. One is called as dicotyledonous seed, we can see. Dicotyledonous seed. Two examples we are going to see, and for dicotyledonous seed, what is the example means which we come across in our day-to-day life? The bean seed is the example for dicotyledonous seed. Beans. And not only beans, even we are talking about what are the various kidney shaped bean seed we can take. Even that prisms pea plant pea seed we can take. Avrekalum tantivala, avrekalum, that is the bean seed, otherwise dicotyledonous seed we are going to see. You might have observed about the what is that bean seed morphology or external appearance. It is somewhat a kidney shaped structure like this. The bean seed is somewhat a kidney shaped structure. In this kidney shaped structure, we can come across two major parts in it. There will be one outer covering surrounding this bean seed, we can see. One outer covering is present here. That outer covering is called as seed coat. We are telling. It is called seed coat. It can be called. Sometimes it may be two layered also. A double layered seed coat like that it is present. Inside the seed coat only seed is present. Remember, this kidney shaped part is called the seed of the dicot plant, we can say. One interesting point is ovule is attached with the ovary by placenta, I told you. In the previous class, marginal placentation, for that we took the example of this only, beans like that. Marginal, axial, what is that, parietal, free central, basal, like that, various placentation we have discussed. Here also in this seed now, if you come across, wherever that placenta was present in that will form a demarcation like this in the seed, you could have observed. There will be a marking present in this area of the seed, white color marking you could have observed. Now this area or this part is called as hilum of the seed we are telling. This is known as hilum, it can be called. At the tip of the hilum, there is one opening present in the seed actually. One opening or one hole will be present. The whole of that, what is that seed, dicot seed, which is nothing but this part of the ovule, is known as micropyle, we can see. So, when you observe the morphology of a bean seed, dicot seed, we can come across outer seed coat, inner seed. Seed will be having one hilum or otherwise raphe, it can be called. At the tip of the raphe, we come across a pore, opening. That opening is called micropyle, we can say. Imagine students, if we place this seed in the soil, if the seed is sown in the soil, it will germinate into a plant through this micropyle only. It will come out like this only. We will explain it later. This is the outer structure, outer external view of the bean seed we can see. One important point here is the seed coat can be separable from the seed in this case. You can separate the seed coat and the seed separately. By soaking the seed in the water, then if you just press like this, seed coat will be in your hand, transparent covering, bag-like covering. Seed will be separated actually. So they are separable in nature. Okay. Now what I do is, I am taking this dicot seed and pressing it so that its internal structure I will view. I can view the internal structure of the seed, dicot seed now. How it will appear in the internal structure, the seed alone I am talking now, not the seed coat. In the internal structure of the seed or dicot seed, we can come across two lateral leaf-like structures here. Two structures, white color, yellow or somewhat slightly yellow colored food storing structure, two structures we could find on the sides here. If you press the bean seed, it will open like this. When it is opening, this side one leaf-like structure, this side one leaf-like structure we are getting. These are called cotyledons we are getting. These are called cotyledons, or otherwise seed leaf it can be called. It is not the main leaf. Main leaf will be above the soil. This is seed leaf. It is not green in color. Even though it is seed leaf, it is not green in color. It will store the food mainly. Reserve food it will be containing, that is called a cotyledon. There are two seed leaves present here, 1 and 2. That is why this seed is called dicotyledon seed it can be called. Why is it called a dicotyledon? It has got two seed leaves. On either side, okay, this is two seed leaves are present. In the center of this seed, if you observe means, there will be one axis like or one elongated structure will be present here. This is one important part of the bean seed we can say. This diagram shows the external appearance. This one shows the TS of the seed or internal structure I can see. What is that rod-like otherwise elongated structure named? Means it is known as embryonic axis it can be called. This structure is called as embryonic axis. In embryonic axis, we can come across two major parts actually. There are two major parts in the embryonic axis. Above the point of attachment of cotyledon, there is one area, there is one part called plumule of the seed. You might have heard this word plumule already. Plumule will give rise to stem we have studied. I told you about radicle and plumule. Do you remember? Radicle will give rise to root system, plumule will give rise to shoot system. So from this plumule only, shoot system will be arising, remember. Now, above this, okay, the above part, the upper part of the embryonic axis is called plumule. Lower part of the embryonic axis, the point of attachment of cotyledon is here. Below that point, there is a part here in the embryonic axis that is called radicle, we can say here. It is not a radicle, R-A-D-I-C-L-E, we have to write. Now this is radicle, this is plumule, remember. Now another thing is, this plumule, otherwise, for this part, remaining part of the plumule, it is called epicotyle. It can be called epicotyle. Below this is called hypocotyle. Epicotyle will give rise to plumule, hypocotyle will give rise to radicle, we can say. What is the future part of the radicle? From the radicle only, root system will germinate, whether it may be taproot or this one. From the plumule only, shoot system will start to arise later. So when we sow this seed in the soil, By taking food from the cotyledon, they will germinate into a new plant above the soil and all. It will become the root system, this will become the stem actually. So this is regarding the dicotyledonous seed. In dicotyledonous seed, there are two major parts. One is called cotyledon, another one is called embryonic axis. Cotyledons will be two in number. Embryonic axis will be a central rod-like structure. In this embryonic structure, upper part will have plumule, lower part below the attachment will have radicle. When we sow this seed in the soil, by taking water from the medium and by taking the reserve food material from cotyledon, this plumule will give rise to shoot system, radicle will give rise to root system. Once if root and leaves are formed, cotyledon will also disappear completely and it will become a full-fledged plant. So students, this is becoming an important dicotyledonous seed, remember. So this is the seed which is exhibiting two cotyledons. A typical dicotyledonous seed we can see. In dicotyledonous seed, there are two categories again. Again there are two types we can see. When fertilization is happening in the angiosperm, two antherozoids are utilized for this purpose. One antherozoid will fuse with ovum and it will give rise to zygote. A refers to antherozoid. It will give rise to zygote. Zygote will become the embryo. Embryo will produce plumule, radicle and everything. Okay, that is one part. Another antherozoid is also utilized during fertilization here. That second antherozoid will join with one structure called secondary nucleus present in this area. You see, this part is called female gametophyte. In the female gametophyte, egg will be present. It bears a female gamete. Gamete means sex cell. Female sex cell is nothing but egg. The part which contains egg, it is called female gametophyte. In the female gametophyte, not only egg or ovum is present. In addition to that, it will have secondary nucleus also. When this secondary nucleus and antherozoid, another antherozoid join, they will become a structure called endosperm we are taking. They will become another structure called endosperm. So remember, in angiosperms, two antherozoids are used for fertilization. That phenomenon is otherwise called as double fertilization we are telling. It is called double fertilization. Detailed process of double fertilization we will study in the second year. Now here you have to remember, angiosperms are capable of double fertilization. What is the advantage of double fertilization? They will produce zygote and they will produce endosperm also. Endosperm is the reserve food material. Zygote will later develop into embryo. Endosperm is the reserve food material. So two antherozoids are utilized in double fertilization that will give rise to endosperm. What happens in some of the dicotyledonous seed means they will utilize that endosperm completely before growth. Before they germinate itself, they will utilize all the endosperm. Such seeds will appear without endosperm. Endosperm is formed, but it is completely utilized before germination. Such seed without endosperm will be known as non-endospermous seed. Dicotyledon seed it can be called. This is called as non-endospermous dicot seed. There are some seeds which will have endosperm even after germination like that. In castor oil, we are telling castor and all. Some oil yielding plant will be retaining that endosperm. They will not lose, they will not utilize it, they will be retained for some more time. Such a seed having endosperm will be known as endospermous seed, it can be called. So there are two types, non-endospermous and endospermous in dicot seed. Non-endospermous seed means you should not write that the endosperm is absent or not produced like that. Endosperm is produced. Double fertilization is compulsory. But whether that endosperm is present for long duration or they are used, that make the time here. If endosperm is completely utilized, the seed will become non-endospermous seed. There endosperm is completely utilized. If endosperm is not utilized, still it is retained, they will be converted into some oil and other things means. It will be known as endospermous seed, we can say. For endospermous seed, castor is the best example. Here we have drawn a non-endospermous seed, bean is the example for it. So bean is a non-endosperm. That means endosperm is produced but not but it is utilized completely. It is utilized completely means it will become non-endospermous. This is called a dicotyledon seed structure. A 5-mark question can be asked based on this. Both the external view and the internal structure you have to write. Draw the diagram. Sometimes a diagram alone can be asked in 2 marks also. Draw a neat labeled diagram of a dicotyledon seed. Remember, it has got 2 parts. One is cotyledon, another one is embryonic axis. In embryonic axis, plumule is there, radicle is there. Radicle will develop from hypocotyle. Plumule will develop from epicotyle. Cotyle refers to cotyledon. Epi means above the cotyledon, epicotyle. Below the cotyledon, it is called hypocotyle. From hypocotyle, we get radicle, that point. From the radicle only roots will come out. So remember, hypocotyle will give rise to radicle. Radicle will give rise to root system. Epicotyle, above the cotyledon, it is called epicotyle, will give rise to plumule. Plumule will give rise to stem or a root. Remember, this is the point. Okay, that is regarding dicotyledonous seed. Just make note of this. I will continue with monocot seed also. Okay, be fast. Students, let me come to another type of seed in angiosperm, that is known as monocotyledon seed. We are going to see. Dicots are over. Monocotyledon seed can be asked in another 5-mark question also. So in seeds, let me explain you about monocotyledon monocotyledonous seed here. What is the example for monocotyledonous seed we take here means? The maize seed we can take as an example for this purpose. Maize. Biologically, maize can be called as Z maize, it can be called. Makki jola antantivalla, sweet corn. You might have observed that a sweet corn seed we are going to see here for a monocot seed. Even paddy, wheat, jawar, okay, they are all coming under monocots only. What is the speciality of this monocot seed and how it differs from dicot seed? From the name itself you can understand they have only one cotyledon. Only one seed leaf will be present. That is one thing. In majority of the monocot, including maize and other cereals, if you take means, they will also have two parts, namely seed coat will be there and embryo or embryonic axis will be there. But what is the point here? Means seed coat will be there and then seed will be there. Okay. Remember this point. Seed will have seed coat and axis, embryonic axis in it. What is the point here means? These two are completely fused with each other. They are inseparable in nature. The seed coat is inseparable. You cannot separate them in jawar, wheat and even paddy also. There will be yellow color husk surrounding the rice actually. Rice seed you might have seen. Surrounding it there will be yellow color husk. Nello antantivala, that yellow color husk will be present. That husk is inseparable. It cannot be separated easily as we do in the bean seed. In bean seed, that seed coat can be separated just by soaking it in water and other things. Here they are inseparable. They belong to a type called as Caryopsis type of fruit we can see. It belongs to a nature called Caryopsis where the seed coat is not separable. Okay. Now let me explain you about a simple maize seed here. You know that in the external view, external condition, the maize seed will be appearing like yellow colored triangle shaped structure like this. Isn't it? It is yellowish in color and triangle shaped structure like this it appears actually. That is the maize seed. In that if you see on the inner side or one side of this one, or if you take LS of the maize seed, I am writing here about LS. This is the outer structure or external view. This is maize seed external view. Here I am writing about LS of maize seed. If you take the LS or say, cut it longitudinal section, if you make a vertical cut means, you can come across one white color portion in this seed here. In this part, you will bear the base, you will come across white color part. Here actually embryo is present or embryonic axis is present. Here this part is another part, another condition we can see here. Remember this part is the endosperm. We can say, endosperm it can be called. So endosperm is more in the case of this monocotyledonous seed. In dicot seed I told you, endosperm may be present or may be present till the end or it may be utilized. Do you know what is endosperm? It is the product of double fertilization. Here also double fertilization happens. But endosperm will be retained till the end here. When I take the LS longitudinal section of the seed, it will also appear like this only, a triangular structure in this manner. This is the maize seed, a longitudinal section we are taking. It has got inseparable seed coat here. This is the seed coat. It could not be separated actually from the main seed. They belong to Caryopsis fruit, I told you. Now listen, this seed is differentiated into two parts. Below that there is embryo part, above that there is endosperm part. So this becomes the endosperm and it will be rich in protein, we can see. Protein rich endosperm is present in this case. They are covered by means of one extra layer also. One more protective covering will be present surrounding that endosperm here. This protective covering is called as alluron. Remember the word alluron layer, it can be called. Alluron layer is made up of proteins. It is made up of protein. Presence of alluron layer is one characteristic feature here. Then what about this? What is this? This is endosperm, rich in starch as well as proteins also here. Inside here, we come across embryo part. This is the embryo part. Dear students, remember, in the embryo part also, there is an axis called embryonic axis present, just like a bean seed. This embryonic axis is having only one cotyledon in it. A small reduced cotyledon will be attached like this. This is axis of the seed. This one is cotyledon, it can be called. This single cotyledon present here is otherwise known as scutellum, we can say here. It is called scutellum, remember. Let me draw that in here. This is the embryonic axis, monocot embryonic axis. With this only one cotyledon is attached. Imagine with this only single cotyledon is attached like this. This single cotyledon is called scutellum and here it is embryonic axis. Now I will introduce two terminologies. The upper part of the embryonic axis, just above the scutellum, this part is called as coleoptile or what is that? Epicotyle, it can be called. This is called epicotyle, upper part. Lower part here below this scutellum, that is called hypocotyle, we can say here. It is called hypocotyle. Hypocotyle will contain radicle. Let me rub this part. They are inseparable, we have seen. They belong to a category called Caryopsis. Here radicle is present. Here plumule is present. In addition to this radicle and plumule, there are two more protective structures present in the embryonic axis. Plumule will be covered by means of one special area, meristematic area covering. Radicle is protected by means of another special covering here. This plumule covering, this part is there, it is called coleoptile. We have to know. It is called coleoptile, where plumule is protected by coleoptile. Radicle is protected by coleorhiza, it can be called. It is called coleorhiza. So, in embryonic axis, epicotyle, hypocotyle, plumule, radicle. Plumule is protected by coleorhiza. Radicle is protected by, plumule is protected by coleoptile. Radicle is protected by coleorhiza. Do you get these structures? There will be embryonic axis. Embryonic axis is differentiated into only one cotyledon, that is called scutellum. If in addition to scutellum, you can come across epicotyle, hypocotyle, plumule, radicle, coleoptile, coleorhiza. In dicot seed, we did not come across coleoptile and coleorhiza. But here we come across this, what is that? This condition called starch containing endosperm. Cotyledon is otherwise called scutellum. So what is the name of another name of cotyledon? It is called scutellum. How many scutellum is there? Only one. That is why it is called monocotyledonous seed. I hope I made it clear. Maize seed is the example for monocot seed. It is yellowish in color generally, but it will have embryonic part whitish in color. It will be differentiated into alurone layer. One more question is often asked. What is an alurone layer? It is the protein covering surrounding the endosperm. Below part is called the embryonic part. Here one axis will be there. One coleoptile, one coleorhiza. Coleoptile protects plumule. Coleorhiza protects what is that? Rhiza root. In addition to that, there is a scutellum present. How many scutellum? Only one single scutellum is present. Okay, students, make note of this point. This is regarding monocotyledonous seed. Generally, here also, they are endospermous only. Very rarely we come across non-endospermous monocotyledon seed. But generally, they are all endospermous seed only. Okay, make note.